Hey guys, today is June 7th, 2012, and I'm going to give y'all a full garden tour today. I planted a couple things that I hadn't showed y'all yet, so I'm going to just take you through the whole garden and just show you everything I'm growing. I've got bees flying around my head. I don't know if they're going to attack me. I've got corn back here. Sunflowers. Look at these sunflowers. Okay. Alright, go back to eating. I couldn't be more excited. I've got stuff growing that I never would have thought would grow this big. I spend more time in my garden than I do my own house. Is that crazy or what? So come on, let me show you what I got growing. Alright guys, I'm going to stand back a little bit and show y'all everything I got growing here. Then I'll walk through everything and show y'all a little closer. But I've got my 4 rows of corn, I got a bunch of sunflowers, tomatoes out the yin yang, peppers out the yin yang, and 2 rows of okra. And I'll show you what I got growing in the back behind my corn. I'll show you in a little bit. Alright, y'all ready? Alright, first off, I just planted 2 stalks back on each row, and all the tall corn stalks down the first row here, I planted some half-runner green beans. Green beans is very good for your soil. It actually releases nitrogen back into the soil. So planting them below your corn is perfect because corn is a heavy feeder of nitrogen, and plus it can run up your corn stalks and you won't have to build a trellis for them. Alright, let's walk through here and see what we got. Corn cob there, corn cob there. I've got them on every plant, I believe. Corn cob there. Corn cob there. And I've got corn all through here. Corn cob there. Corn cob there. Alright, this is a good one to show you. See what happens when this silk dries out and turns brown and gets all crispy and stuff? That's when you know it's time to pluck your corn or chuck your corn. But mostly all corn is wind pollinated. But if you spend as much time as I do in the garden, I just come through here and shake the plant. Pollen falls down and you pretty much know for a fact that the cobs are getting pollinated. But I at least got 1 cob on each plant, so I am happy. There's a cob. Alright, now that we're through my corn, I've got cucumbers planted. I planted these kind of late, but better late than never, right? I don't have any cucumbers on them yet. I don't even think I have any blooms on them. Not yet. I need to go through here and thin some out. I got a lot of them in there. Beside my cucumbers, I've got watermelons planted, and I don't think a lot of them are coming up. But I've got Crimson Sweet on this side. I think it's Sweet Baby. I think that's what they call it on that side. Alright, beside my corn, I've got sunflowers. about to bloom. Most of them on this side are not bloomed yet. I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but I'm 6'1", and this plant behind me is probably about 8 foot, clear above my head. Most all these sunflowers are mammoth sunflowers. Got them at Walmart. That one's about to bloom. Look at all them bees. Bees are very important in your garden. They will pollinate all of your plants and get them to bloom. They'll take pollen from one flower to the other flower and to the other flower and to the other flower, and they will all bloom. Most plants are pollinated through bees. If you don't have bees, you're not going to get anything. Let's see if we can get this one up close. I just saw a hummingbird over here. So that's pretty neat. My idea for all these sunflowers is to bring in bees to the garden, and I'm going to collect the sunflowers from them for next year. So I should have a lot of sunflowers, you think? Alright, moving on to my tomatoes. Can you believe how big they've grown? Run through here real fast. There's a nice tomato. Some right there. There's some. I'm definitely going to save the seeds off of this plant here. It won the 2011 Seed Saver Exchange's tomato testing contest. So I hadn't yet tasted one, but I'll let y'all know. There's some big tomatoes in there. Take a look at that one. Goodness. I believe I might enter that into the contest. My Black Prince tomatoes. There's a bunch of big tomatoes. My Brandywine. Some down in there. There's a good one. Here's some of my cherry tomatoes. This would be the ill-dyed cherry. They're a yellowish tomato. There's some already turning yellow there. There's some. I can't wait to taste them. Look at them, they look like grapes on there. Covered in tomatoes. I told myself last year I wasn't going to grow any more cherries because I got way too many of them. Couldn't give them away. Guess I didn't listen to myself. Look at this cluster here. Golly. Alright, moving on. Bunch of maters. Some more maters. More maters. Alright. Alright, moving on to my peppers, which I showed y'all last week, so I'm going to just skim over top of these. They're growing about the same. I had to stake this one up because it fell over. There was so many peppers on it. Look at all them peppers. Behind my peppers, I've got cantaloupe, ambrosia cantaloupe. I've got 3 plants here. I've got blooms, but no, well, there's one growing right there. There's one growing. Maybe another one right there. Everybody I've talked to said these are the best tasting cantaloupes, but I've never tasted one, so I'll be letting y'all know later on in the season. Alright, over here I've got a ground cherry. They say these things are really good. I believe they're in the tomato family. They grow in this little husk shell type thingy, and they're supposed to be toxic before they fall to the ground. Once they fall to the ground, you can eat them, but I've never known of anybody to eat them. That's my ground cherry, my one and only ground cherry. Alright, back in the front again. Beside my peppers, I have Clemson spineless okra. I grew about 9 plants last year, and it produced a lot of okra. So I'm planting the same. I got about 8 or 9 down this row, and the next row I've got red velvet okra. I got about 9 plants down it. So I'm hoping to get a bunch of okra this year and maybe freezing some up. But I tell you, I'll show you what's happened to me. That's a big plant. I'll show you what has happened. Started seeing something's been eating on my leaves here. This plant and the next plant and the very last plant I had down there ate every leaf I had off. See, that leaf's gone. So what I did was I got some coffee grounds I set out here, and I believe it worked because my plant's still here. I hadn't seen any more signs of it being eaten. But that's my Clemson spineless. And over here beside it, I've got red velvet okra that I planted about a month later. The okra on these will be like a burgundy color. I've never had it. Hopefully they'll do good. It won't get eaten up by any rabbits or anything. Alright, that's my main garden. I'm going to take you over here to my compost pile. I've got watermelons growing in my compost pile. I've got a couple baby ones there. I've got a real big one here. These got to be crimson sweet because that's all I grew last year. And I've got another one right there. And as for everything else, I got a bunch of weeds in there. And I think cucumbers over here. But other than that, cucumbers over here too. I'm gonna just let everything grow. Ain't no need in tearing it all up. But I've got sunflowers growing in my compost pile that I don't have no earthly idea how they started growing in there. I like this here. I ain't never seen that many sunflowers on one sunflower stalk. Alright guys, I believe that's going to be it. And I do apologize if this video's really long. I do not post really long videos. I try to keep it under 10 minutes, but this video might be over 10 minutes just because I'm showing you everything in my garden. So just bear with me. Y'all feel free to subscribe, check out and see how my corn turns out, and my tomatoes and peppers and everything else. And if y'all have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll answer y'all as soon as I can. Thank y'all for watching. Bye.